Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen and Xenos of all ages, and welcome to another Tactica Imperialis live stream. It's Idoneth Deepkin release preview week and the pre-orders are out, and that means that some people, because they're lucky, are, well, they've got them already. So we've got quite a bit of an unpacking to do of the book. I'm not going to do that on this stream because I want to do that in my own video / stream when I get the book next week. I don't want to go unpacking all the rules and all the points cost of all the units that some people have seen because they've got the books in their hands. What I want to do during this stream is basically I just want to go over what we've seen on Warhammer Community and those sorts of things, as well as discuss the Warscrolls, because Games Workshop have published the Warscrolls for the units that are on pre-order. They're available for download, so we can cover those as well. So that's the basic plan for the news segment. Obviously you can always have the discussions we always have, and then I'll hopefully be working on my second Vanguard Palador, or my fifth technically, and get him done during the stream, which I plan to go quite long. So from the last stream I have actually finished off the Vanguard Palador I was working on. I've finished that off, when did I finish that? Something like Wednesday or Thursday I finished this guy. So I'll hopefully be working on a new model, although actually I realise I have missed a tiny bit. So I'll just let people arrive, get settled, get any early questions in while I just fix this little bit of painting, and then we'll get on with the Idoneth, because I know that's what most people are probably going to be here for. Yeah, we've also seen next week's pre-orders as well. So we know that next week we'll be getting the Namati Reavers, and we'll be getting the Akhelian King, including Volturnos, the High King, which is lovely. So we know what's coming our way after that, and we'll be going over that as well, because that is a preview, and so it falls under the stuff of things we'll be discussing in the Idoneth preview section of this stream. Have I neatened that up now? Is that all fixed? Is chat broken? You can never tell if chat's broken if it's a little bit quiet. Could just be the regulars aren't here. Hey, don't diss the Deepkin, you haven't even faced them yet, they're not even out yet. Besides, they look great. Just say that, they look great. I'm not sure how, some of the rules do look quite disgusting, I'll give you that, but the models themselves, oh god no. Does that stick out too much? No, not at all. They do look tough. However, they're going to be an army you can play around quite interestingly, because, simply put, you know exactly what they're doing every turn. So you know that on turn 1, they're going to be hard to shoot. On turn 2, they're going to be a lot faster. On turn 3, they're going to hit really, really hard in melee. On turn 4, they're going to be a bit more maneuverable again, and then turn 5, you reset. We shall see how easy they are to take off the table. To be honest, I'd be alright with them being mid-tier. I'd be alright with them being just kind of meh. I don't want them to be Tzeentch level. I'm much more happy with them being mid-tier, so at least usable to good. That's sort of where I want every army to be, is usable to good. I don't want any armies to be outright busted. I don't want any armies to be outright trash. I just want armies to be between usable and good. Sure, you'll have a meta based off of that, but if every army is usable and some armies are good, then that's enough for me. So that's where I want the Deepkin to be. I want them to be good, but if they're just usable, that's fine. If they're broken, I'm not going to like it. Because, well, I know what happens when you own an army that's broken. You just get a lot of hate. I know, I played Tau last edition. Also, Sea Elves have been a thing for years, and I mean years. The whole Matlin thing has been around for years. That's an old thing that they've resurrected for this. Unleash the power of the storm. Yes, there is the aspect of the storm for the Eidolon. We'll show his Warscroll later. There have been a full set of points that have been released by people who own the Battle Tome early, who do it for like unboxing videos and early reviews. I'm not one of those people, but I have seen the points. I'm not going to be discussing them here because I want to get the book next week, and so next weekend, probably next Saturday or next Sunday, I will have a full-on Idoneth review stream. I will do it then. I'll announce it early because I'm hoping to go and get the book. And we'll actually have a proper Idoneth review stream where I'll go over the points and the book and all the details, and we'll do it then. However, I have seen some of the points, and I think they're competitively costed. They're competitively costed, I'll say that. Hello. But what? Sea elves, as I said, sea elves and elves who have who fight on the sea has been a thing for absolutely ages. The Lothern Sea Guard have been a thing for ages. Sure, elves who live under the sea is kind of new, but it's just a twist on a new flavor. It's just a new flavor, that's all. Not looking them up until release. I completely don't blame you. I looked at it by accident because I wanted to make sure I hadn't missed anything going into it from the pre-orders. There'd been an article somewhere, or they'd come from the Warhammer Live preview that I wanted to see. So I went looking for that, and I kind of found all the points by accident. Start collecting. I don't think we need it urgently because obviously new army, new stuff. We need a Daughters of Cain start collecting, and we need a another death start collecting anyway before that perhaps. So if there were to be one though, probably 10 Namati Thralls, the 3 Eel Cavalry, and a Soul Render? Soul Render, Soul Scryer, or Tidecaster, one of the 3. I think they are sketch. I think it's a really cool concept, and the way that they're handling them, they are sort of twisted in some way, and they have to do what they do to stay alive. I like it. I do. I really do like the way that they've handled the Idoneth. And also, they're not mer people. They are, mer people to me are part fish, part whatever race they happen to be. And they're not that because they're still fully elven. They just live under the sea, as that comment. So, yeah. Also, don't need a new project to do. Yeah, I'm lucky the fact that Project Stormcast is nearly over. Speaking of which, Town Called Malice is out tomorrow. And so I'm ready to start a new project. Yes. Yes, it is. But yeah, because Project Stormcast is nearly over, I'm ready to start a new project. And so between Daughters of Cain, Idoneth Deepkin, and maybe even if we get the Shadow Elves or the Sith Eye, the Light Elves, if we get one of those, oh, it's going to be fun. So, really? We're starting this already? We're starting this already? So, lore-wise, does their magic permanently terraform the land? No. Uh-oh. Please don't have technical difficulties. Please don't have technical difficulties. What's the problem? Video output. Why is the output though? Why would there be an output issue? Oh, the frame rate's gone through the floor. Well, that's just odd. Frame rate kind of went through the floor there. But no, the magic of the Idoneth does not terraform. What it does is it creates what's known as the ether sea. So it's sort of like the sea comes with them, so that they can control their sea business. It's like they're fighting underwater, but it does not change the land at all. When they're gone, the ether sea goes with them. So no is the short answer. I don't exactly know how it works. I need to read the book, but the short answer to that question is no. The shipwreck is awesome. It looks great. And it actually has rules, so it's not quite a Sylvaneth Wildwood, but it will work as a piece of terrain, kind of like the Gnarlwood for Nurgle. Fanta. Because Fanta is cheaper. That seems to kill the frame rate. So I need to keep the OBS window open, not to kill the frame rate. Right. Okay, that's a thing that exists, but fine. That's fine. Yeah, don't worry. If you terraform, it's not like the Beast Claw Raiders. You have a literal cold storm chasing them wherever they go in their own mind. Though I need to look up how that works. I need to look up how the Beast Claw Raiders work. I need to look that one up in a bit more detail because it's quite an interesting setup. So yes, is there any other questions or ideas that people want throwing out there before we jump over and do the Idoneth? Because obviously we've got the Akhelians, the it does leave that the sort of smell behind. Yes, it does. Sort of the odor of the sea is left behind. That's true. Also, like the silence from Doctor Who. Oh, which one are they? I think I know the ones you mean. You mean sort of like the ones that look like the stereotypical aliens, but very pale flesh coloured with no mouth? Is that the silence? They don't worship Mathlin per se, at least I don't think they do. They can create an avatar of the now dead Mathlin, which is the Eidolon. That's the difference. Let me get the preview ready. Because the first one we need to do is the Akhelians. And that's going to crash the frame rate. You forget about them when you aren't around. Oh, yeah, yes, you're right. You're right, they are. Oh, winter, sorry, I misread that because I was reading it on the small screen, not water, winter. Yeah, that's the Beast Claw Raiders. Sorry, my bad, I misread that. It's my fault. Forget about them when you aren't around. Yeah, the Forgotten Nightmares thing, that's where you can only shoot the closest unit. You are very correct. And actually, in the in the story that we read last stream, the Stormcast couldn't remember the Idoneth. Yeah, sorry about that. That's my bad. I was reading on the small screen of my OBS window rather than reading the full chat window, so I missed what you said. Yeah, they do. They sort of bring a blizzard. I think the way it works is they're sort of always running away from this eternal winter. I haven't read the Beast Claw Raiders book in ages, but I feel like that's right. Willing to be wrong, though. Willing completely to be wrong. Yeah. Okay, good. Glad that's been cleared up. Don't like making mistakes, but it's good when I spot that and people correct me. I'm more than happy to be corrected, which is always fine. Yep. Alright, I think that's about enough dilly-daddling. Let's jump over and have a look at some Idoneth, shall we? I overshot a tad there. No, we're in about the right place. So the Akhelians, these are your cavalry, by the way. I'll start that now. The Akhelians are the warrior caste of the Idoneth Deepkin, raised from a young age to become masterful warriors. Like the Isharan, who are the wizards, the Akhelians are drawn from those amongst the Deepkin born with fully formed souls, and as such with long lifespan, lives they dedicate toward mastery of warfare. They're strictly meritocratic, as lines of succession don't really mean much when most of your kids, like 90 to 99%, are born as Namati. Good. I don't really like hereditary society. I think that works better for having a warrior caste where it is meritocratic. A warrior caste should be on merit. The origins of the Akhelian way of war lies in the time after the founding of the Idoneth Deepkin. And Tactica told the Sithai of the elves of old. What did he say? He told stories of cavalry from antiquity that rode horses and dragons into battle. These sea-mounted monster warriors of the Akhelians emulate this ideal. So that's cool. Basically, Teclis told them about the dragon princes and the silver helms and stuff like that, and so the Akhelians copied it, which is why they ride eels and sharks in place of chariots, and dragons, instead they have the deep mares. Which is a very neat way of doing it, and it allows you to have those callbacks to the elves of old, if you want to do that. I mean, there's some who would argue that you don't want Age of Sigmar to touch on or lean on fantasy at all and stand alone, and that's kind of what it's doing. It's just making the odd nod rather than outright ripping it off. Did chat die? I wonder if chat died. There is Idoneth, Lothran, I think it's Lotan, Namati, and the boat on the OSF. Yes, they did. We'll be going over those Warscrolls in a bit. I just want to go over the preview stuff first, and then we'll go over the Warscrolls later, alright? We'll do that first. We'll do that in a minute. Well, we'll do that in about 15 minutes, or however long it takes to get through these sections, depending on interruptions and questions and stuff like that. Because always value your input on these things, but I just want to have a little bit of an order to it. So, hello, Imperial Knight person. So the Akhelians make up the elite of the Idoneth Deepkin army, your cavalry monsters, and of course the king all hail from this cast. The Akhelians fight exclusively mounted, from the Fangmora eel-riding Ishlayan and Morsar guard to the Akhelian Alapex to even the massive Akhelian Leviathan. We'll get onto the Alapex and the Leviathan in a later part when we cover the beasts, which is about in 2 parts' time. Akhelian units tend to cost more points, of course, they're cavalry, but hit very hard. Every army will want us to cover these units, sure. So we're still not sure which ones are the Morsar and which ones are the Ishlayan, as in which ones are the swordsmen and which one are the spearmen. I would wager that the oh, I don't know. I don't know which is which, and I wouldn't really want to say. So most Idoneth Deepkin armies will be led by a king, accompanied by Morsar and Ishlayan guard, powerful eel-mounted cavalry with the ability to harness biovoltaic energy. For example, the Ishlayan guard can ignore rend, and in addition have a 3+ save instead of a 4+ save on the turn they charge. So this is a unit that you want to combine with the Tides of Death Allegiance ability in the following way. You want this unit charging on turn 2. So the reason you want that is that on turn 2, you can charge really hard, or you charge really quickly because you'll be doing some re-rolling, and then you'll have the buffed save so that you can not have to go first in that combat and take a hit. Then in the 3rd round, you're guaranteed to be striking first, so you don't need the improved save because you can then kill your enemies on that turn. So, particularly with your sword cavalry, who will have absolutely no charge benefits, I don't know if the speary, lancy guys will, you definitely want to be charging on the 2nd turn, so that on the 3rd turn, you can go first and not worry about having a higher save. And if you have to charge on turn 3, then charge on turn 3 and get the benefit of going first and having a save if anything survives your attacks. But that is just a nice to have. It's a real nice to have. So, approve. Taking a Akhelian king as your general also turns Morsar and Ishlayan guard into battle line units. So the Namati thralls are the only battle lines that you get by default. The rest of them are battle line if, and they're all battle line if based on generals. So the cavalry are based on the Akhelian king, whilst the Namati reavers, which are the bowmen, as we find out later, will become battle line if you have a Isharan as your general. Also, is something wrong? Oh, always forget I'm doing that. Sorry about that. Always forget that when I'm jumping screens to look at the stream. Sorry about that. I feel like chat's broken and I don't know why. It's just like, chat's not normally this quiet. Chat is really not normally this quiet. Because I know there's people here, I just checked and we saw there's a few people here. Just really quiet for some reason. Okay. You know, there seems to be a reference to the Myrmidons. The who, what now? Sorry, you're gonna have to catch me up on that one. That's a reference I don't know that reference, I'm afraid. Yeah, there's only 12 people here, I know that, but like normally there's about that many here, and the chat's a little bit faster. There's normally a bit of tick over as like, particularly because like during the commentary that I usually give on the stuff, there's usually somebody chips in. I know it's a little bit, it's not very busy, but I was expecting maybe a little more than that. But hey, complain. Who am I to complain? It really hates when I do that. Greek myrmidons. I always get an Atlantis vibe off these guys. I'll go and have a Google of that. See if I agree with you. I'm expecting I will, but... Hello. Love though the idea like underwater Drakari, but on the good side. Well, that's big. Well, kinda. They're sort of like Drakari, but without all the twisted torture and stuff like that. It's soul capturing because they have to, and their allegiance with Order. Some of them have sworn to Sigmar, yes, but they're not exactly popular. So the Myrmidons were a legendary people of Greek mythology native to Thessaly, commanded by Achilles, created by Zeus from a colony of ants. What? 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 Sorry, I can't say I agree with that one. What is your recommendation for someone who's starting at 40k? Read the book. Actually, I just released a video like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, which was called. No, it was last week. Was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. Or this week even. God, I can't keep track of days. I think it might have even been this week. Which was my thoughts on starting a new hobby project. So a good place to like, go and get a fuller version of what I'm about to say is there. But my general analysis would be, have a look at the books, have a look at the models, and see if there's an army that suits you playstyle-wise. Talk to the people around your community, talk to the people at Games Workshop or wherever your local store happens to be about what you want your army to do and what suits you. They can point you in different armies that play that way. Go and read the lore as best you can. Use the wikis, Lexicanum, our videos. On YouTube, you can do that. And just learn what you can and find what interests you. And then also have a look at the models, decide what looks the coolest. And then weigh it all up and decide, okay, I like these guys lore-wise, I like these guys gameplay-wise, and all that sort of thing. That's probably the best way of doing it, I would say. Is the High King immortal? No. He's incredibly long-lived because he is an elf. Like, all elves are extremely long-lived, but he is not immortal. Just like we said there, the Akhelians, which he's basically the first of them, is an incredibly long-lived being. I don't believe he is immortal, though, unless that is... noted otherwise in the battle tome. I'll have to see. I always get more of a Atlantis vibe off them. I don't know if it's the Disney Atlantis, but Atlantis itself, the idea of underwater cities and people living amongst the waves with sea creatures. Yes, of course, there's a reference there. Myrmidon's stories are more or less Greek Vikings. So, just raiders then. Piratical raiders. Okay, it's not the closest reference I would have come up with, but alright, if that's the way it is. Sail in, raid, sail out. I suppose, if you look at it that way, I suppose. There, I see you have a painting club shape. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the content we make. If that's what you do, I'm glad you enjoy it. But yeah, like whatever process you went through to pick your AOS army, go through the same one for a 40k army. I would recommend obviously playtesting the game as well as getting a couple of test games to see if it's to your liking, rather than just going straight in and buying an army because you might not like the game. So that's probably the best I can say. Right, let's have a poke at the... Have I got the page right? The Akhelian helms, the Myrmidons use very similar ones. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'm not that up on my Greek myth. It's just like I saw ants and got confused. Right, let's have the Isharan, shall we? Since we'll hop through the previews, then we can look at the Warscrolls, which is where the real meat is for this. Yes, there is a rumour the High King was the very first soul to be released from Slaanesh, and that is actually, as far as we're aware, true. We are led to believe, and it will come up in the preview for his pre-order, which is about 2 articles on from this one, that that he is the last of the Sithai, the awakened elves that were the first elves that Tactica tried to shape after rescuing them from Slaanesh. Whether he was the very, very first soul, I'd have to check White Dwarf, but I believe he was. You're playing Shadespire and Necromunda? No, I've never really been fussed for those sorts of games. I might give Shadespire a look, and I might give Necromunda a look, but it's really not top of my priority list of things to do, because I don't have that nostalgia for Necromunda that a lot of people who are older than me have. And Shadespire just never grabbed me. Just never grabbed me at all, the Shadespire setup. A Mongol faction, Beastclaw Raiders. I don't know how much honour there is in the Beastclaw Raiders. I don't know, but fair enough. That's not a bad call. The Isharan are one of the higher castes of the Idoneth Deepkin, treading the martial art of the Akhelians for unusual powers, from magic to powerful prayers. Isharan are drawn from those Idoneth born with 4 souls, and thus they live as long as their distant kin, i.e. other elves. I think Morgars and horses that rule a great steppe empire. So, like, Britannia crossed with somebody else then. I don't know if we'll get a cavalry faction like that. We'll have to see. Still love that artwork. I love this artwork. You've got the Soul Render, the Tidecaster, the Soul Scryer, and Lotan, the Soul Warden. Really good, that artwork. Like all elves that... oh, hang on, I've overshot there a tad. Like all elves, the Idoneth are highly attuned to magic, while the other mages draw their power from elemental energy of the realms or from their patrons. The Isharan are masters of a more malevolent magic, using the crucial abyssal power of the sea and possessing sinister telepathy. Well, I mean, the power of the sea is just elemental, so yeah. You haven't missed too much. We've done a quick look at the Akhelians, which is the Idoneth cavalry, but we'll be looking at the bigger ones, the Leviathan and the Alapex, in a minute. We're just having a look at the Isharan now. So the other thing you've really missed from the whatchamacallits is the fact that they've got a shield boost, which is kind of nice. Leviathan Jaws, what are your thoughts on them? Could do with more units from what I hear. I've always thought Iron Jaws were good. I've never faced them, if I'm honest. They look cool, and I think they're pretty powerful, but they're lacking in unit variety, I believe. That is a hook rather than a scythe. So Renegade, I think I'll order it once it comes out. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not going to be this week, because Lotan's out on this week's pre-order, and the next week's pre-order is the High King, and the Tidecaster, the Soul Scryer, and the Soul Render are not on that. So we're going to have to wait a bit for the Isharan. Thoughts on the Akhelians? We need to see more of their rules. All we know is that they're going to be quite fast, hit quite hard, cost a lot, and one of them's got a good shield, and they become battle line if you have an Akhelian king. We could do with more information on that before anything else. As for the eels themselves, I've come round to the models. They're alright now. I don't like them that much, but they're alright. kind of a glaive. I always still go with a hook, because the lore context of how it works is it literally like rends the soul out and hooks it out, leaving them either dead or unconscious. I'd like some new kind of demons added to 40k anyways. I want to play against the Deepkin. New demons would be dangerous because there's only so much scope they've got, because they have to release for every faction at once. So there has to be, but just to keep balance, there needs to be a new Khorne demon, a new Tzeentch demon, a new Slaanesh demon, a new Nurgle demon, or it has to be an undivided demon, and they're quite hard to make. Guan Yu, I'm just going to leave you to your terminology. This is not a phrase I know. So yeah. Right, take at the bulk, and your Akhelians are offense. These guys are new tactical flavour or sneaky tricks. So Lotan, which is the scroll dude, is actually a unique character as far as we're aware. He is actually a unique. So +1 bravery for units within 12 inches of him, entirely within 12 inches. In addition, reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Namati units whilst they are wholly within 12 inches. That's pretty good. So it's not the longest range aura in the world, but it is good. It is good, and it will be useful if you can deploy him correctly and not have a huge unit of Namati, because you need to have the whole unit within 12 inches to get the benefit. Look at what Brimstone Horrors did to the game. Very true. Like a kind of elemental demon that only loosely follows chaos or destruction because natural disasters. So yeah, that's not really a demon at that point. That's an elemental, and I think there has to be. I think there'd be a distinction between an elemental harnessing faction. I think would be cool, but I wouldn't class them as demons. Decapitation. I don't think it'll be used for decapitation. It will be more used for hooking and stuff. But yeah, ouch. Any more here? If you're grabbing an Eidolon of Matlin this weekend, you'll find Isharan characters particularly handy, as the latter are able to boost the already potent abilities of these maritime manifestations. And they're already quite good. They're already quite good. Hell, they could just buff Furies a bit. See, most of us in 40k is 6 to 12. 12 is amazing. Yeah, but that's in 40k, and also it's wholly within 12. So you can't. It's not a true 12. It's kind of 12 minus a bit, because you have to keep your entire unit in 12. So less units can benefit. You got to have units to conga line their way out, claiming the massive benefit. That's something that needs to be pointed out. And also in AOS, 12 inches is much more the norm. What you've missed is the Akhelian and Isharan previews. There's not really a lot. The way they've sort of handled the Idoneth is very much slow, little drip, drip, drip information. So a little bit on the Akhelians, a little bit on the Isharan. We're going to do the Beasts in a minute, then we're going to do the pre-orders for next week, and then we're going to do the Warscrolls for the models that are coming out this week as well, which is Lotan, Namati Thralls, and the 2 forms of the Eidolon of Matlin. So I'll just hop back over whilst I get things set up, because I don't really want to do that on the screen. How's everything looking? Everything's looking good. Yeah, sorry to. I know we've been going for about half an hour. We had a bit of time just getting everything set up, and I've done a couple of previews. But there's really not a lot to discuss, and it's just an interesting way. But you come early enough that you'll get the Warscrolls, which is where the most of the interest lies. Played first AOS game. Ooh, do tell. What were you playing? Who were you playing against? And how did it go? And what do you think of it? Let me know, please. I do want to know. Very curious to see how that went. I might just wait. Also, for anyone who was asking, I did finish the Palador that I was working on last stream. I'll be doing a second Palador tonight. Like a spider demon. Well, we don't know what Malerian's elves are going to be like. They could be like using the shadows and spitting. I don't know about spiders, but I could see the shadow elves using beasts of the dark. I could. The weird part of the Deepkin lore is when battle is over, the victims just lose their memory. Yeah, because the Idoneth don't want to be remembered. They want to be forgotten. They'd rather nobody knew they existed, because then the fact they do all the soul stealing means they come and hunt them down. So it's part of the magic of the Tidecasters and the Isharan. It's part of what the Isharan do. Spider Goblin Cavalry, yep, and the Arachnarok Spider. That's a thing. I miss the Arachnarok Spider. That was a really cool kit. I mean, I don't know how good it is in AOS and how good Destruction is generally, but yeah, I miss the Arachnarok Spider. That needs to come back. As I said earlier with Iron Jaws, need more models, apparently. They're a bit lacking in options, but they were always, I think they were like the first meta-defining army back in day. I think they were like the meta-defining army. As for now, they're good looking, definitely good looking, but I don't know how powerful they remain at the moment, and they could probably do with some cavalry options if nothing else. Have you read the short stories from Allied Importance? Some of them. I've not read every single one, or if I have read all of them, I've read some of them in passing, if I'm honest. But I am glad that they're there, and as I said, I've read some of them before on stream as well. Got my friend into AOS. Nice. Very fun, 1000 points, Bloodbound vs Stormcast. No allegiance, fair enough. My infantry failed to do anything, but Thursday was awesome. Lost overall, but a lot of fun. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's always good to see more people getting into AOS. Spider's good. The caster's what makes it good. I can see that being a thing. Don't worry, I'm good. I'm dealing with slight typing mistakes. It's not a problem at all. I knew what you meant. I use Beastclaw Raiders as cavalry. Yeah, you could do that. Just pull in an allegiance from somewhere else. I don't think the Bone Splitters have cavalry either, so yeah, Beastclaw Raiders makes sense, just pulling them on Fangs. It's not a bad call, that. But yeah, they could do with their own, they could do with being some actual Auric cavalry back. Like updated Auric cavalry, that would be nice. Though, speaking of cavalry and monsters and all things like that, let's hop back over, shall we? And have a look at these guys. I thought Nagash is peed off at the Deepkin for keeping their souls. Yeah, he is. He is. He's really peed off about it. You seem like a good person, so I'm getting a Nurgle warband going just for name. Could you give me a suggestion? I'm very bad at homebrewing. Like, thank you for saying so. Thank you. But I'm not that good at homebrewing. As much as I'm a lore reader and a storyteller, I'm not a lore writer. I don't know, it depends on what sort of you go with for your theme. What are your thoughts on the release over a few weeks instead of one big hit? Well, the Daughters of Cain were a 2 to 3 week release. They came out over a few weeks. The difference is the way the previews are being handled. So that's the difference. A good person to ask. Ah, fair enough. Yeah, Nagash doesn't like Sigmar either for that reason. These archers really mess with us, alright, and then some storm vermin. You mean storm fiends. Storm vermin are the elite Skaven infantry with the halberds. Storm fiends are the giant rat ogres with Gatling guns. Just quick clarification. If you're looking for storm vermin, very different thing to storm fiends. Because storm fiends are ridiculous. Iron Jaws have cavalry. Oh. I didn't think they did. I thought they just had like a couple of bits of infantry, a couple of heroes, and their lord. I thought that was like it. What's the most ridiculous piece of lore from AOS before we go? I've come across so much and read so much, I've just sort of had to go, you what, mate? Like, the fact that Blood Ravens have an artist and excommunicated for some of the crap they've pulled. I've recently read up on the Proletariat Crusade. What the hell was that thing? The list goes on and on. Yeah, Storm Fiends. I will say about Stormcast, if you're playing like basic Warrior Chamber, they're quite slow. They are quite slow. Like once they've dropped onto the battlefield, they're pretty slow unless they're running like Dracoth cavalry or Vanguard elements who are a bit faster. So basic Stormcast, like the Warrior Table, like Liberators, Judicators and stuff, pretty slow. And Paladins especially, really slow. Tamerkan's Horde. Oh yeah, I know the one. I've not really looked into it though. Khaldor Draco. Meebs. The Idoneth Deepkin make great use of monsters and beasts in nearly any other order army, making up for their limited numbers and resources with magically enslaved beasts. At their smallest, these may be the bioluminescent creatures that like the undersea enclaves, or the familiars that fight alongside the Isharan. At their mightiest, these could be the savage Alapexes. Alapexes? Oh, I don't know if I prefer Alapai there, but whatever. Or even the Leviathan. I mean, I like what Necron's 5th edit was all things out in the same week. If that's done with the Deacon and Death. Well, that's just the way that they handle things nowadays. Generally, it's staggered releases. So with the Codex back then, it was all coming out in a month. So it all came out across one course of a month, and then the next White Dwarf was the next set of releases. So it felt different. Nowadays, with getting daily looks and previews and things, yeah. It's just a different way of handling things. And going back to 5th edition is a bit of a jump back. Lord Croak changes the constellations into a frog face, dropping carts in the sky and summoning an army at the same time. Ha! Lord Croak. But Alexis just finished her Dark Heresy stream. I thought she might have been going a little longer than that, but good for her. If she's still going, then feel free to stay with her. It's up to you. Woe Hold on the Thieving Magpies are good boys. Well, yeah, but also done some very questionable things. What armies do I play? I play Tau and Orcs are my main 40k armies, and Stormcast Eternals and almost certainly Idoneth Deepkin are my Age of Sigmar armies. Stormcast is my army now, and I'm going to be starting an Idoneth Deepkin project either in summer or in September when I start back at uni in England. Or if the Light Elves and Shadow Elves come along and say nope, then I might change my mind again. That's though, but they can wait for me to come to them because yes, that's true. That's very true. But if they sit and wait for them to come to you, or for you to come to them, then you could just control the board and score a bunch of objective points and force them to come forward, because you'll get to the middle of the board before they will. So, yeah, if they've got things like Judicators and just spamming Judicators, problem. But if they're playing like mostly Liberators with some other stuff, yeah. No, Khaldor Drago is a fair one. He's quite ridiculous. He has done some rather crazy stuff, I'll give you that. But Khaldor Drago is also there for memes reasons. Good is subjective for Blood Ravens. Good is subjective for everything in the Imperium. You still go around just to finishing an essay for a class. Ouch, I sympathise. I sympathise about having to do stuff for classes you hate. There's some classes that I absolutely hate. Though I don't know whether to be happy or annoyed that you've chosen my stream to do that while you write an essay. Maybe it's because I'm less distracting. I don't know. You're not doing Daughters now? I was set on Daughters, but then the moment the Idoneth were a thing and I learned, oh, the Idoneth are coming, it's like, well, now I've got two factions to pick from. And the more time's gone on and the rules look fun and playable, I've just gravitated more and more toward the Idoneth, because I think the models are better. Overall, I think the models are better, though Marathi, I think, has possibly the best model of the whole lot, debatably versus the Eidolon. The lore more suits me, because I can play off the Tragic Hero card, and I can make lore around that, and also they've got a bit more flexibility. But I don't know, it's just something about the Idoneth appeals to me a little bit differently to the Daughters of Cain. I might still do Daughters, but I might do it as I do a semester of Idoneth and a semester of Daughters. And then that will get me about 1,000 to 1,500 points of Idoneth, 1,000 to 1,500 points, maybe 2,000 because I've got some already of Daughters, and that's basically me up to a nice, solid Elven army, which is nearly the same size as Project Stormcast. Especially like Drago's trip to fantasy. Yes, that was silly. The bonds that the Idoneth Deepkin share with their beast is a difficult one. Whilst the Stormcast and Eternals and the Fire Slayers may possess a deep connection with their draconic allies, which is the Magma Droth, which looks amazing by the way, and the Dracoth and things like that, the Idoneth was magically enslaved their beasts using the Embalers, a specialised sect of the Isharan. In order for these magics to take, the creatures must be blinded, for without this measure they risk slipping their bonds and escaping in a murderous rampage. There are groups and even whole enclaves of Idoneth who trawl the ocean for beasts to hunt and capture, with the Gurish forces of Dom Hine training particularly vicious specimens. Josh Rollins said that it wasn't Drago who they met in the Royal Chaos, it was the Stormcast Eternal. I think if Remplace I feel like that's going to be a video one day. You're more chill. It was either take a break or lose my mind during the Women in Modern Britain essay, and the gym is too far away. Fair enough. So you've come for a relaxing session with Tactica Imperialis rather than the madness of a Dark Heresy stream. Alright, I get that. You also don't need to at me every single time. I'm reading the entire chat. I don't need to be atted every single time, just as a sea of red. Also, yeah, this is weird. This is interesting that the Idoneth actually enslave most of their mounts because they have to, which is kind of scary. Theme-wise, they wish to claim the soul of Gilliman for Nurgle, and so Mortarion can have a punching bag. Oh, it's a 40k force. Oh, when you said Nurgle, I went straight to Age of Sigmar. I apologise. You meant it's Death Guard. Right, it's Death Guard. The Polluted Soul? I don't know. I think the Idoneth should get a Kraken, Watcher in the Deep monster, i.e. a massive Kraken or Orcs. Well, they've got the Deep Mare. You've got the Deep Mare. Oh, what did you miss? You've missed the Ishiran and Akhelian previews, and we are about to get to the, as the message says above, Doom Turtle. And I give up with you lot. I'm just going to sign on to the Doom Turtle meme. I'm just signing on to the Doom Turtles. AOS Nurgle is really strong. So I've heard. I've not faced them yet, but I have heard that they're pretty good. This faction needs Krakens, White Whales, a Leviathan, or a Whale Shark. 1. That's a shark on the far left. 2. There isn't one on the screen. I can't show you a Deep Mare, but it's kind of like a Kraken. Admittedly, there's no whale, but yeah. Also, yes, Doom Turtle. I don't know if like mer people would work. One of the Idoneth enclaves does live on the back of a giant sea monster. That is true, actually. It's being invaded by Skaven at the moment. Oh, you poor bloodbound sops. That's weird. No, you don't need to apologise. It's just like, when I think of 40k and I think of Nurgle, I go demons. And then when I think of Nurgle generally, I go with the AOS stuff, because we generally refer to them as Nurgle. When we refer to the Morsel 40k Nurgle faction, we go to we say Death Guard. It's just a minor distinction that I have, that's all. Why no Sea Hydra? Charybdis. Yeah, the Charybdis, man! Well, I suppose it's so the Scourge Privateers still have something to do. Basically, it's just, I think it's just so that they don't take the gimmick off the Scourge Privateers, and that will be it. It's to stop gimmick infringement. Sorry, looks like he lives in a covenant. Dear me. Sorry about the Doom Turtles, I thought it was funny. It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. It is kind of funny. Discworld turtles with elephants and all. They do have like a Discworld turtle. That's a thing that like, one of the enclaves lives on. Whale sharks are really big. I know. You put whale and shark in the same sentence. Now. Chat, you'll need to disappear for a minute. Look at those effing stats. That is stacked. Ish. Actually, very much ish. So I'll keep the chat up on my screen, but you guys can't be seen at the moment, I'm sorry. So this is the stats of the Doom Turtle, the Leviathan. So he's got a 24-inch range gun, 3 attacks, 3 up, no rend, damage 1. It then has 1 attack, which hits on variable, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, d6 damage, although if you roll a 6 to hit in the Jaws of Death roll, which is just there, you get a flat 6 mortal wounds outright. Or is that just on the charge? Yeah, there is a Doom Turtle with an entire enclave of Idoneth on it. The Finns, 2 attacks, 2 in range, 4 attacks, 3s, rend 1 damage variable. The Spear, 2 attacks, 3s, no rend damage 2, and then 4 attacks, 3s, no rend damage 1. That's, that look good. He bites you and you die. Allow me to explain. If you roll a 6 for its attack, you do 6 mortal wounds outright. Here's the catch though, with the whole run away and hit it from range. Forgotten Nightmares. You can only shoot it if it's the closest model. See, chat agrees with me. What's the name of the giant serpent in Norse myth? There's the Ouroboros, or Ouroboros, or however it's pronounced, the one that could encircle the earth, that was the child of Loki, that could eat its own tail. But I don't know if that's the one you mean. Is this a full weapon list? We don't know, but looking at it, looking at the model, just if I go back up and look at the model, you can see that there are spears, you've got the harpoons there, and you've got this dude with a spear. I don't know why I'm moving my mouse over it. But if you look at it, you can see you've got guns, and you've got the guy at the front with a spear. So I'm thinking that that's actually all of its stats. Oh, excuse me. Jormungandr. Ah, Jormungandr. It could be that. Oh, we don't get anything with the Alapex. Sad. I'm not going to look at that right now. Let's go to next week's pre-orders. Jormungandr. I say Jormungandr, but I might be completely butchering that. I'm just saying it phonetically. I think they need all the sea creatures of the world's mythology. Yeah, but then they don't want to have too many units just for the sake of game balance. The world serpent who devours Odin whole at the Ragnarok. Oh, okay. Right, yeah, you guys know your Norse mythology better than I do. I vaguely know a bit of Roman and Greek, but not much. Killed Thor. Right. And it seems like it don't. Do we know how big it is as in width? Well, let me have a look at an image on this page. No, there isn't. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it in terms of scale. So, let me just jump back over to the screen cap a second. We'll come back to that in a minute. So, down. So, looking at those Cornate Blood Warriors, they're about, it's about maybe 3 or 4, like the base is probably like a 70 mil base. I don't think it's 100, it could be 100. So that's its scale, I'll let you decide. I thought it has so many 3+ weapons on it at the least. Yeah, it's going to be pretty powerful, I think. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but it's going to be pretty powerful. Forge is the Dread Saurian for the Seraphon. That's true. Also on the Hydra thing, the Hydra's the big caves near the sea but do not live in the sea. That's why Hydra's not working this army. Ah, yeah. If that's true of the Charybdis, then Yeah, that's true. If they're not actually under sea creatures, but like cave inhabitants near the sea, then it works more for the Scourge Privateers. You're right. So yeah, I don't know quite its width, but I'm thinking it's going to be a 75mm base, and then it's about it's full width, maybe 4 to 5 Stormcast wide, maybe about 4 Stormcast wide, fin to fin, and its main body about 2 to 3. So I'll give you a sense of scale. Jormungandr is the son of Loki along with Fenris and Hel, and technically Sleipnir, but Loki are both the horse literally because he transformed into a mare. Right. This faction has got a lot of giant flipping sea creatures. It's got 3, or 2.5 with the shark, the turtle, and the deep mare. It's got plenty. Like, how much more do you want, sucker? Oh dear. Some people are just... Or they're just being sarcastic. They could just as easily be being sarcastic. So yeah, we'll jump over into the previews in a minute. I'll just let people catch up. Yeah, but then they've got to design the thing and balance the thing. Like, that thing's nearly on a Star Drake level. Like, what's the stats of a Star Drake? Hang on a sec. Let me get my Unleash the Kraken. They've got the Deep Mare. Calm down. Can we all agree the Doom Turtle is amazing and we all need one? The Doom Turtle is awesome. I'll agree with that. Right, where's my Stormcast Battle Tome? Like, that thing was what? 16 wounds and a 3-up save, right? Obviously, you can't know about the defenses provided by the rider and stuff. We don't have special rules yet. But that's Star Drake stats. That defense stat is a Star Drake. Okay? That is Star Drake defense. Alright? It's big. It's tough. Alright? I know the Dread Saurian is way bigger than the Carnosaur, but we've already basically given them a Star Drake. What more do you want? Like, that's a dragon. That's the most powerful creatures in the game, like superheroes like Akhelian, Nagash, and Co. aside. It's the most powerful, statistically, in terms of like wound stats, in the game. Not the biggest its weapons that would be a great anchor to hold the line. It will be a great, yeah, it will be a good beat stick, but also it will be decent defense. And it'll be a good sponge with Forgotten Nightmares. You can actually set it up at the front and use it to sponge wounds with Mystic Shield to get it up to a 2-up save, and then it just won't die. So yeah, I think it will be a very good unit, both as bullet magnet, because it has to be the bullet magnet, or as damage dealer. It could be either, or both. How that gigantic squig model? Yeah, I know the one. I don't know what its stats are. But I don't think it's the same stats as a Star Drake. Somehow, I don't think it's the same stats as a Star Drake. I don't know what I can say to convince you. It's already got as good a stats as it can have. Play Bretts in fantasy and miss Cav armies now. Start to mount a Chaos army. If I can Cav span, I'll give the Deepkin a try. Yes, you can. So if you, you can take an Akhelian king or queen, because you can do that as your general. Then both the Eel cavalry, the Ishailan, and the Morsar guard, both of them become battle line. So yes, you can. Giant mosasaur creatures, prehistoric giant reptiles are awesome. I mean, if you want to do dinosaurs, just give them to Seraphon. So this week's pre-orders. This is not stuff we've got rules for yet, although we do get a little bit here. This is what's coming out in 2 weeks. So this is going on pre-order next Saturday, coming out the 28th. Bear that in mind. These guys are not going to be around for a bit. So first up, we have the Namati Reavers, raiders and scouts for your army that are ideal for holding objectives, slaying war machines, and generally making a nuisance. And they are so dynamic. Like, these guys have got such good poses. So dynamic. I particularly like the bottom left, the bottom right. So, hang on. I particularly like that guy, that guy, that guy. I'm also keen about the guys at the top left. Yeah, like, just, they're so dynamically posed. That's just awesome work. A little bit flimsy, I suspect, but they look awesome. I can hold up the elf armies of yore, can't shoot past it. Yeah. The Doom Turtle is going to be powerful. The Doom Turtle is going to be very powerful. If that turtle has the Idoneth Deepkin keyword, then the aspect of the sea can heal it. Sorry, I don't do paleontology. I'm sorry. Are those AOS minis? Yes, they are. These are the Idoneth Deepkin, the Namati Reavers in this particular case, for the Idoneth Deepkin, for Age of Sigmar. Yes, they are AOS minis. Though, admittedly, you could probably use the legs, especially as Carbolite warriors, or, you know, just Eldari in general, because they're so dynamically posed, they'd make great aspect warriors. I could see you doing something with Howling Banshees, Witches, Carbolites even. You could do a lot of those with conversions of 40k if you wanted to. Let me strike a pose. What do I have to do with you lot? Cool, indeed. Might be hard to make multiple units look different. This is true. I think what they basically have to do is make sure that every upper body is completely independent of every lower body, or that every set of arms is able to be put on every torso. So make sure that that torso can go on, that set of arms can go on any torso, whilst that set of arms can go on any torso. Just basically making it so that every set of arms is allowed against every other one. This is Shadow Elves. These guys aren't obviously Shadow Elves, but yeah. Just all these Warscrolls. The Warscrolls are doing next. We're doing the Warscrolls next for the Thralls, the Eidolon, and Lotan. We'll be doing them in a bit. Don't worry, calm down. Keep all but the hip cape the same. I think that the hip cape has to be on a specific model because it just lets the model flow a bit. It's the arms that you can do the most with, I think. Hopefully. And we also get some abilities for them. Actually, I'll scroll up a tad. So, the Namati Reavers are fun and flexible. For one, they can shift their mode of fire. So, basically, they're like Judicators, but both forms of Judicators, if slightly worse. So, they either have one attack that's 4s and 4s at 18-inch range, or they have 3 attacks that are 4s and 4s at 9-inch range. Colossal Squig, 16 wounds, 5 up save. Yeah, Doom Turtle, 16 wounds, 3 up save. Can I rest my case now? Yes? Good? Okay? Good. Thank you. If you take an Ishiran hero as your general, such as Lotan, or the Tidecaster, or the Soul Render, or the Soul Scryer, then these guys are also battle line, so you can have a bit of both. So they're basically like Judicators. You have your melee unit that you're dedicated to battle line, and then you have a battle line if shooting infantry units, which in this case is the Namati Reavers, unlocked by the Ishiran, rather than by the Allegiance ability. Warscroll is a bit meh. Oh, I see. That's a shame. Meanwhile, the Akhelian King offers you 2 choices. Unless it's more killy than Doom Turtle, it's better. At least it seems at least tougher, yeah. In real life, mosasaurs are probably more related to snakes or lizards than dinosaurs. I see. I see. So, this is an Akhelian King. I'm just going to... Yeah, I don't need to hit the chat away, which is nice. What in this game is better than 16 wounds with a 3-up save? Archaon. There's one, Archaon. Dreadsaur is 16 wounds, 3-up save and can regenerate. Yeah, Archaon I think has more. Alariel might have more. Nagash I'm sure has more. But beyond that, not sure. Undead dinosaurs. Well, I mean, you've got the zombie dragon, but other than that, yeah, I get what you mean. And the Terrorgeist, I suppose, but they're not dinosaurs, they're dragons. So you've got the Akhelian King. He's armed in this particular image with a sword and shield and a slightly over-the-top headpiece, and also a second weapon on his back So he's got like another sword on his back, which is nice. And we actually get a look at the Deep Mare in some detail. So that's your Kraken-like creature. Dread Sword is really offensive but no defense, apart from healing. And a 3-up save. So, is this Kraken-y enough for you? Is that enough of a Kraken for you to say alright? All the Exalted Data Demons save a slash have 20 with a 3-up save. Okay. Great. Great. Your alternate build for your Akhelian King kit is Volturnos. And annoyingly, the way these images are designed is so bad because I can't get the full image on the screen for you. So, yeah. No, there's no need to have a rant about it. Like, it's fine if people want to compare, but like, the Doom Turtle is the way the Doom Turtle is. It's fine. No, 1 hour 68 as well. Why are you knowing? Why am I getting a Rogel Dawn no? Oh, it's not crackly enough for people. It might be cool to get a giant squid creature, but you've also got to consider like the design aspect of it and making it like suitable for the table. It's just got to be, it's got to be a balance between rule of cool, functionality, and fitting on theme. Not enough Kraken. Fine. Volturnos isn't just the greatest living Idoneth Deepkin, he's also rumoured to be the first ever elf created by Teclis, and is the last surviving member of the Sith Eye, the first tragic generation to be created. Over the years, he's proven himself a talented commander and peerless warrior, siding with many enclaves and proving instrumental in transforming them into a powerful and established race. He gets his own preview next week. Good. Crack will be way too big to fit on the table. It would just be too awkward. I think it would just be, rather than being large, it would just be awkward. Like trying to get all the tentacles in the right place. Like, do you want it like Yogg-Saron where they're coming out of the ground? No, that's going to look dumb. So you need to have it on the model. It's going to be like sat on them or floating on them or have them up here. I don't know, it'd be way too awkward. Can we call the Doom Turtle Gamera? Honestly, some of the best raiders we've had in a long time, no need to complain. Makes me wonder what else they could produce. Like, between like Marathi, the Eidolon, and kits like that, I'm very positive about the future of the model design. What is that going down the side of its belly? On Volturnos? That's just its paint scheme. It's just painted to have like stripes as the orange on its tail blends into the purple scales and flesh. It's basically just stripes. It's not anything else. And on the other one, yeah, it's just color blending. That's all it is. It's just color blending. Alright, debate's been had. However, we also get a look at the Akhelian King command ability. Lord of Tides. You can use this command ability if this model is your general and the High Tide ability is active. Therefore, this only can be used on turn 3. This is literally a one-use only command ability. But what it does is give an Idoneth Deepkin unit within 12 inches +1 attack to its melee weapons whilst striking first. How good is that? Probably quite garbage because you can only use it once and the rest of the time you're stuck on Inspiring Presence. This is a really good range I'm thinking to start anyway because of it. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. My Tyrant equals Mothra. Power Rangers reference? I think. Or is that a Godzilla reference? Oh god, is that a Power Rangers or a Godzilla reference? I think it's a Godzilla reference. Sorry, I'm very bad at that. Turns 3 and 5. No. Turn 5 is restart. So low tide, not high tide. I think there might be an ability where you can reverse the running table. I might have seen that, but yeah. It is a harsh draw, but then giving a unit +1 attack in melee weapons every single turn would be powerful. So you get 1 battle round, basically, 2 combat rounds of +1 attack. It's not great. It's not great. However, bear in mind, when we have a look at the Namati Thralls, their Warscrolls actually has something that gives them absolutely bucket loads of attacks or massively boost their attacks. As a result, I will ask you to withhold your judgment on that command ability for 5 minutes until we get the Warscrolls. So I'm going to go and get the... Oops. I'm going to have a look at the pre-orders now. I get up all of the Warscrolls for you. This might take me a minute, just whilst I get everything ready. So, done with you. Is he just on 1 frame? Wow, just on 1 frame. Turn 5 is low tide. Yeah, it is. That's like a fun kit to build. Eidolon aspect of the storm. Please don't lag. I apologize if there's lag right now. I'm just getting everything ready. There we go. Corn could do that every turn to each within 8 instead of only 1. Yeah, you have a point. Right. So what I want to do right now is I want to take a look at all the Warscrolls for the units that are coming out this week. So that's why I sort of asked you to hold your judgment. So it has more reach, but it's kind of said it's not as good as I'd hoped. So the aspect of the sea. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. So let's have a look at some Warscrolls, shall we? Chat, you need to disappear and I need to shrink. So give me a moment whilst I just shrink the camera down. I'm just going to put the camera in the corner. And chat, you need to disappear. Sorry about that. There's now a black space on the screen, but that's all right. So, Namati Thralls. So, what do we know about these guys? They are 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, with 1 rend and 1 point of damage. They have a 5+ save, a 6-inch move, 1 wound, and a bravery of 6. We knew this already. However, there are 10 or more models. That's also good to know. And models in the unit can be icon bearers. You can reroll battle shock test for a unit that has one, and that model has +1 attack. In addition, add 1 to their attacks if they are made against enemy models with a wounds characteristic of 1. So against hordes of infantry, you get +1 attack per model. If you are attacking a model with 4 wounds or more, so anything above light cavalry and medium cavalry, really, you are adding 1 to the damage. Let me get the chat on my screen here. It is a really good battle line choice. Like a large mortal human faction that is a cross-realm state, a la the Empire of Mankind for fantasy. They're working on it. I suspect they are working on it. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this up on the screen for a minute, let chat catch up. Actually, I might plunk the chat back on the screen. Actually, no, I won't. No, I won't. Yeah, the sweeping blow rule is ridiculous. Like, basic infantry, double your attack output. Big guys, double your damage output. It's very, very silly. It is very, very, very silly. By the way, as a fellow Tau player, I think you might have said already, what are you thinking of the new Codex? It's actually pretty good, haven't had to play it, but it looks good. It looks alright. I think basically they'll do. Like, they're going to be serviceable to decent. Like, it comes up again on the podcast actually this week. We talked about it very briefly. So check out the podcast on Alexis's channel this week. That's coming out on Wednesday. You'll get a bit more of a look into them there. I think they're serviceable, but not top tier. Bit fragile, but I take it. Yes, that's true. But bear in mind, if they're not the closest unit, they can't be shot. Please remember that's a thing. If they're not the closest unit, they can't be shot. Therefore, they are way tougher than you give them credit for. Also, on turn 1, that 5+ save is actually a 4+. Something else to bear in mind. So why are these guys at 5 times better than a Bloodthirster? You mean Bloodletter? Because like, if you compare them to a Bloodthirster, that's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, so that's okay. That would have been a bit of a stretch. So yes, that's the Namati Thralls. They're very silly. They're very silly, and I have to wonder how much they're going to cost. Actually, why don't we take some guesses? Can't be shot, but can be magicked. Yes, they can be magicked, but something to keep in mind. So, any further thoughts on the Namati before we jump over? I'm going to do Lotan next. I'm going to do the Warden of the Soul Ledgers in a moment. And I'm also going to get myself a snack. What do I want? Do I want one of those or one of those? I'm not sure. Can't do mortal wounds unlike bloodletters. That's true. No mortal output. So if you are guys who have ridiculously good saves, sure they've got rend and attack/damage, but yeah. Also they get hard countered by light cavalry. Spells will be the bane of this army, quite possibly. Is it at least 100+ points for 10? Yeah, like I was thinking it could be as much as like 150+, potentially, but maybe not. 120 to 140, 240 I think is a bit much. 8 to 10 points a pop, so 80 to 100 for the unit. French chest tomorrow with the subjective and the indicative. Oh god, which ones are those? Subjective and the indicative. I just want to ask, what are we reading it right or see it right? Because I saw their points are 100. I don't know where you've seen that, but we haven't got the book yet. But some people have. Also, yes, the banner is the leader of the unit. That's a little bit odd. So people are saying 100+, 120 to 140. Oh, so okay, so like pensée que and things like that. Like that's like semi-basic verb structure that's quite early. 120 seems about right. Okay. So people are saying about 120. We'll see when we get the book. So next up, I just remember what order I did this in. There we go. So next up we have Lotan, Warden of the Soul Ledgers. He marches to war with every Idoneth enclave, not only his own, which is called Iron Rock. So great is his will, so vast is his desire, that it manifests itself in the ether sea, inspiring Idoneth Deepkin, but especially Namarti, who fight with renewed vigour. Intriguing. Oh, the subjunctive! Oh, the subjunctive! Right. These guys will be broken as whole hell at 100, so much better than corn infantry, possibly. 75 for 5, so that'll be 150. We'll have to see. So, this guy is 6-inch move, 5 wounds, 6 up save, bravery 7, so he's flimsy as hell. He's very flimsy, but he's almost impossible to shoot. Again, it's bear that in mind. So his ability, +1 bravery for all Idoneth within 12, and reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Namarti that are wholly within 12 as well. We saw this ability earlier in the stream, but some people weren't here and missed that. So basically, he buffs Namarti and he makes it harder for stuff around him to run away. That's decent. I think the rerolls of hits for Namarti is the main thing. But we can get a 6 attacks in the right build, but that relies on heavy synergy. Like, Blood Reavers can go crazy, but you need to have like Wrathmongers and Blood Secretors and Bloodstokers and all sorts of things to make them do that. Massive Nautilus unit. His ability is pretty good. Yeah, it's a good ability. It's just it's got the holy tag, which is something you need to mention. And yes, Lotan is the bookkeeper dude. He's the book guy. And he also has a 5+ ignore wounds and mortal wounds ability. So yes, he's got a 6 up save and 5 wounds, but he is actually not the flimsiest in the world because he has got a 5+ save after a save. So are elves Greco-Roman now? Yeah, but no, but. Like, they're drawing inspiration from different things, like from Greece and Rome, and they're doing it a lot more heavily than the elves used to do. But, yes, I guess it has always been a thing. So that's Lotan. What do we think? Let's get some thoughts in the chat on Lotan, and, or Lotan, I suppose. And then we'll move on and we'll do the 2 forms of the Eidolon. I discussed one of them last stream, but we'll get to see the aspect of the sea this time, as well as the aspect of the storm done properly, rather than just my garbled French translation reading small print. It's basically that counting guy from the Death Guard. The Spoilpox Scrivener, I think his name is. Yeah, he's pretty good. Good force multiplier, but squishy. Yep, very much a squishy force multiplier. But you've got to get to him first, and that's not as easy to do in Idoneth because of the shooting rules. Tallyman. Oh, maybe like Epidemius. Why is the Octo not so good? Yeah, it's just got 6 attacks and then a damage 2. 7 damage 1 attacks and then a damage 2 attack. It's alright. I don't think I'll be taking him because he doesn't seem that good, but he could just be not knowing NAS that much. Maybe. Like, I think if you're running an Namarti heavy army, he is going to be good because it actually applies to all hit rolls, including shooting. If you keep him safe, you'll see a lot of use for Namarti. How I think he'll be points wise. Most heroes sort of come in the range of 80 to 120. I'm going to go with about 90 to 100, I think, just because of his defense. Quite like him to be better without the octopus on his model. Well, I'm not sure how you... I haven't really looked at the frames enough detail to see if you can actually build him without the octopus on the model. 60 to 80? Just given the amount of force multiplying he can do, I think he might actually be slightly more than 60. I think 80 to 100. Cool. 100, 80 plus, 60 to 80... Okay, a mix of opinions again. Which one's this? Okay, the aspect of the storm. Can I get this all on one thing? Yes, I can. Good. So, this is the aspect of the storm for the Eidolon of Matlin. This is the one I discussed last stream. 140 between 100 seems right. Yeah, 100 seems like 90 to 100 seems like a good safe place for him, I think. Ow. Yeah, he hits hard. So this guy is 12-inch move with 12 wounds, a 3-up save and bravery 10, and he never gets worse. That's something as well. He doesn't degrade at all. So it can fly. It's still be good but expensive. True. Can fly, and he's got 4 attacks that hit on 3s, wound on 2s, re-rolling 1s because of the Drench with Hate special rule, with 2 rend and damage 2. However, on the charge, it re-rolls 1s to hit and adds 1 to its damage, making it damage 3 with 3s re-rolling 1s and 2s re-rolling 1s and a rend of 2 and 4 attacks. In addition, he can charge in the same turn that it retreats, not run, so it has the turn 4 Tides of Death ability on all the time, and it heals for D3 after it charges. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Well, the old fantasy I was basically ripped from Tolkien. Bits of it will have been, yeah, but like almost everything ripped from Tolkien back then. At the start of the combat phase, pick an enemy hero with a wounds characteristic of less than 8 that is within 3 inches. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for that hero for the rest of the combat phase. Underestimate that rule at your peril. Underestimate pulled into the depths from at your peril. As long as you keep charging, he won't die. Ouch. Seems good. Yeah, definitely seems good. Damn. Definitely going to be a useful model, this one. However, there is the question of whether it's going to be better than the aspect of the sea, which we'll get to in a moment as I'll let people finish having a read and give their opinions, and then we'll jump over, as well as have their points guesses, because we always have to have our points guesses. Athenia for High Elves, Sparta for Dark Elves. Yeah, I suppose. -1 for free, unlimited bow. About 250 plus. Okay, that's I don't know. That seems a slightly low number, just given the fact that like, let me take a. Like if I look at Stormcast, 12 wounds, 3-up save. Can I find a model with 12 wounds and a 3-up save? The Celestin Prime. 12-inch move, 8 wounds, 3-up save, and all the stuff that he can do costs 360 points. The Celestin Prime, who has 4 less wounds, has costs 360. I think 200 and 300 might be a little bit low. Is there anything else that I can... No, not really. I mean, Barathi's something like 500, but then she has her gimmick as well. Bear in mind, a Bloodthirster is 260, I'd say about the same. Okay, that's interesting. Gotta go, fair enough. Beatstick, I can take it for a more offensive approach. Absolutely, you use this guy on offense. I pay 300 to him as a Tree Lord Ancient, even a -1 ability. There is a Discord reference, the Enclave on the back of a giant sea monster. That's a thing. Discord is a thing. And then finally, we have the aspect of the sea. I can't get this on the... Yes? Yes? Yes! I can get it all on the screen. Just. I could just about get it all on the screen. So the aspect of the sea is slightly slower with a 10-inch move, but it's still got 12 wounds and a 3-up save. It can also fly, and it can reroll 1 casting roll in your hero phase, and if you do not reroll, you heal D3. That's pretty nice. So either buff your magic or heal. C1 for the win. Add 3 to bravery of friendly Idoneth Deepkin units within 9 inches. That's really good. And he is a wizard, so 2 spells. So Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, Cloying Sea Mist, and Tsunami of Terror. So Sea Mists is 12-inch range, 6 to cast. If you target an Idoneth Deepkin unit, you can heal it for D3, and any other unit takes a D3 mortal wounds. So it's a Arcane Bolt that can also heal and has less range. So pretty good. Tsunami of Terror, casting value of 7. Pick D6 enemy units within 12 inches that are visible. Subtract 1 from their hit rolls and from their bravery until your next hero phase. That spell is powerful. It then has D3 attacks, 3s, 3s, Ren 2, damage 2 with a 15-inch range. It then has 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 2, damage 2 with a 2-inch range in melee, along with 3 attacks, 3s, 3s, Ren 1, damage 1, and its fish can do 2d6 attacks, 4s, 4s, no rend, damage 1. I will just give you a quick flip back to the aspect of the Storm, who has 4 attacks, 3s, 2s, rend 2, damage 2, 2s, 3s, rend 1, damage 1 with 4 attacks, and 2d6, 4s, 4s, no rend, damage 1. Just to remind you of where we're at. Magic better than non-magic, 300 plus for sure. 350 to 450, 350 plus, maybe 450, 350. I think Technic's Interior will get models like all other new elf factions get demigod models. Morathi is not a god, so she doesn't set a precedent. But either Tyrion, if Malerian gets one, they'll get one. If the twins get one, Malerian will get one. I think basically, I don't know. I think it would be cool if they did, but I don't know. I love both. I want to run both. I mean, what keywords have they got? Just FYI. So, hero, wizard, not a monster. As a reminder, not a monster. 340, which is the same cost as Kairos. Yeah, I like 340. Alright, so we've got a mix of opinions there on how much the aspects are going to cost. I seem to think 200 or so, 250 or so for the aspect of the Storm, 350 or so for the aspect of the sea. Intriguing. We'll see what they come out as, and I'll tell you when I get the book next week and we have our proper review stream, and I'll actually announce that in advance. Is the Avatar of Matlin a special named character? We don't know if it's unique. We'll have to see when we get the book, but it's a hero, yes. Is it named? Not sure, as in we don't know if it could be taken more than once. Why on earth isn't that a monster? Because it's just a flying elf. Just a flying elf. It's a not very subtle boost. Like, that's a big boost because you're just not vulnerable to all the same BS of monster hunting that's in this game. You're just not vulnerable to it. Right, I'm going to take a short break, get myself a snack and a top up to my drink, and then I'm going to move on to the painting so we can have a discussion about the Idoneth as we go, as well as all the other things that are going on in the hobby. So, Take a very short break, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes, folks. I'll see you soon. And we're back. Welcome back to the stream. I've had my break now, I've had my snap, and I'm going to now start on some construction. I want to get my second Palador done this evening, as far as possible. Anyway, where's the assembly manual for this bugger? What the balls? Eh. 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 Okay. Okay. I buried it? Ah, buried it. Found it. As a team, Chin can't send in a magic using units. Your Idoneth nearly fearless is really good. Both are great, just different uses. Agreed. Both are super supporty. Well, the C is more div support, but yes. That mage needs to make its mind up. Which ones are the Paladors? Around 290 to 310 for both of them. Okay, that's an interesting choice of numbers. We were saying like 250 to 300 for one, 350 to 400 for the other. So one's on its high estimate, one's on its low estimate. Now I'm no longer alone. I'm not going to sing. Yep, it's this one. I want to put this in front of OBS and on my screen, but because I don't want to hide the chat by putting it here. That'll do. And my drink's in the way. God damn it. These streams are becoming more and more AOS focused, and I'm enjoying that. It's just mainly because the releases that we've been getting around the time have been AOS, and I can talk about all the 40k stuff on the podcast. Like when the Drakari were getting previewed, I was talking about the Drakari a lot on stream, but the only difference is I can talk about 40k stuff on the podcast, whereas I'd have to do my thoughts on videos to do AOS discussion outside of live streams. Plus, I'm working on AOS stuff anyway, so it just kind of seems like the most sense to me to talk about AOS. Though I'm glad you enjoyed the fact that there is an AOS focus to these streams. And to be fair, the channel has been more AOS this year than it's ever been, because I've had an official ongoing AOS project. Whereas in the past, like when I was doing my old one in Elfin Adventure, that was just, I don't know, it feels like this is the most AOS-y year I've ever had. Honestly, the Thralls are some of the best troop droids I've seen in a while. Yeah, the difference is how powerful, how much are they going to cost. We need, numbers are going to be a bit critical. How do you feel about the Elven Cursor being 40 points more than they should be? The thing is that should be to be powerful or should be to be serviceable? Because if the 40 points too much turns them from, makes them all right rather than busted, then I'm all right with it. Wish you could talk more AOS than last show. I can't really talk about the podcast because it's a Warhammer 40,000 podcast, including the title. But I do enjoy talking about Age of Sigmar and stuff, so I'm glad that people don't mind. Oh, hey Rowan, you're 2 hours late. I think they might need a more long-ranged melee weapon. Long-ranged melee weapon? Bluehead Seeker Steeds late? Well, I started nearly 2 hours ago. I mean, I'm not going to say you're actually late because you weren't invited, because I didn't tell you I was streaming, but you're not here at the start, so it was a joke. I'm assuming that's a fight me emoji. One inch melee means taking them in large groups isn't a good idea. Oh, like a 2-inch reach melee weapon. Ah, right, I see. But they make up for that by having more attacks against little guys and more damage against big guys. So, yes, it would be nice for them to have a 2-inch reach melee weapon, but it's not ridiculous. No, I wouldn't say that. Remlaze doesn't know anything really about Age of Sigmar, so he just stays out of it, and Alexis has her opinions on it. She's never been a huge fan of fantasy. So I might say my piece on it if I think it can be relevant to the discussion, but outside of that, I know it's a 40k podcast, so we talk 40k. And I think you'll like this week's edition, where it was a lot less talky overy and a lot more back to regular service and fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this episode that we shot on Friday. If it comes across that way, then apologies for the fact that it comes across that way, but it's not intended to. I'll admit we weren't at our best in the last podcast, and we'll all admit that none of us were probably at our best. And we apologise for that. I can't tell you what happened, and you'll have to watch it on Wednesday. Oh yeah, we wouldn't keep doing the podcast if we didn't enjoy it. We have our off days, sure, but we have fun doing it for the most part. That's not the elf way. Go sit in a corner, high elves, no one cares. Small bands of super allegiance is how it's done. All else are flimsy. It is. Yeah, horde spamming them is not going to be the way I think you want to play. They're a raiding army. They're raiders at the end of the day. Why doesn't anyways have the 1 inch or within 1 inch of model that is 1 inch to the target? Maybe it will in the next patch of rules that they do for it in the next, I don't know, chapter, General's Handbook. They might do that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so, but they might. Oh yeah, there's different metas wherever you go. It's just interesting. It is always interesting to get more insight on it. I wish I could contribute more with meta discussion back home, but I don't care for tournaments and I'm not even in the country, so I can't really contribute to that. 1 foot. Also good to see how shooty the range version be. We had a look at it earlier. So it has 1 attack, 18-inch range, 4s and 4s, no rend damage 1. Or it has 3 attacks with a 9-inch range, 4s and 4s, no rend damage 1. Depending, and it has both of those weapons at once. So it will either fire a single shot, or if it's close enough, it will fire 3 shots. That's how shooty they are. As for the other abilities, can't say. Well, like going to depth, got to know before anything outside of your meta. Yeah, very true. You've got to go and deal with the global meta, and or at the very least the American meta. It's good to get you to an event. Oh yeah, like if I get the chance to go to an event like next year, I will absolutely do so, but there's only so much I can do. Also, you get shouted at the end of it. Warhammer World likes YouTubers. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't do it for that. I want to block out the sky with arrows like the old days. I find it funny when I listen to the Long War podcast, the tabletop plays is a lot more like the IA meta. No, Alexa's come round to Custodes. You just think they're alright. I think there's actually might be mentioned. She's come round to Custodes. Picked up a skull grinder as well the other day and he actually performed really well. Glad to hear it. So what abilities do you think the Doom Turtle will have? There's talk, if I remember in the White Dwarf, it talks about it maybe having an energy shield. So I'm thinking it might have like a 6+ aura or just its own 6+ save after a save, like the Blood Shield. I'm thinking it's got the Crushing Jaw thing, obviously. And I'm thinking it will have either an inspiration thing or it will have another damage buff. One of the two. Why did I decide to paint 80 skeleton warriors? Because you're insane. That's why, because you're absolutely insane. Also, was not a lot of the Deepkin in the lore about them as long as fighting skeletons riding a Doom Turtle. The guy was riding a Deep Mare. The Deepkin Lord you're thinking of was riding a Deep Mare. There was a turtle there, if I remember correctly, but he was riding a Deep Mare. His great hero unit for one of his battalions, or just like how he looks? That's a skull grinder discussion. Look at this guy with arrows. Why was the headpiece on so late? Where have you been? Where's the other Stormer Sea? I think the other one that appeared was a Tidecaster. I think it was talking to an Isharan. It was talking about the magic of the Isharan and whether it was a deception that the Stormcast had forgotten. Working toward the Red Headsman. I've heard that name. I don't know if Kieran has enough to make that, but I've heard that name. Let me keep on dreaming. Yeah, the skull grinder does look cool, to be fair. Then the pack. There will be Magic the Gathering over here. I don't play it personally, either in the UK or in France. Blind archers with 8 aim, you say? Great banter. If this is a dream, let me keep on dreaming. Ba-do-do-do, ba-do-do-do. Good. I was going to put this headpiece on and then at this point I think to base. I don't think GW should do their own MTG. Let that stand on its own and be its own thing. I wouldn't say so. But there's the Age of Sigmar card game coming soon, though I don't know if that's going to be like Magic or like Hearthstone or what, I don't know. Damn it. Empty that. Insurance. How lucky can one guy be? Yeah, it was in the Adepticon preview. Sorry, I was really quiet there for a second. The Adepticon preview, I mentioned that there's an Age of Sigmar card game that we know nothing about. Need food. Fair play. In law, there are more than the Storm and Seers. They want to reach. Well, they're aspects. They're summoned when the Idoneth need them. So there might only be one at a time, but they can be summoned by any of the enclaves. So the answer is that there is more than one, I think. Depending, I don't know. Shadespire is nothing like magic. Just FYI. Horus Heresy card given the yeah, that's the video game version. I'm talking more about the actual hard paperback version. Physical copy. That's the one I'm looking for. Not like Hearthstone. Hearthstone, but in the Horus Heresy. Okay. I did not see that. I did not see that. I'm not shocked, but I didn't see that. Quote. This is why I hate Vanguard Paladors. This right here. Getting them on their damn bases is a nightmare. A few years ago. There was the Space Wolf game, I suppose, that was on the App Store, and then that's been ported to PC since. Is there a battle scroll for the ship? Yeah, there is actually a wall scroll for the ship. I didn't look it up because I don't care so much for terrain, but yes, there is one. Oh! Flip. Oh, there goes that hoof. It's going to be a pain in the butt to reattach. Like, who designed this? Like, that's just poor design. Like, I understand you want it to look cool, but you have to have solid contacts. Just put another foot on the base. And not just this like slightly clubby foot. It's bad design. Sorry, G-dubs. Bad design. Problem's not the amount of glue. That's not the problem. It's getting a flat contact. It's getting a flat contact between the base and the foot. And it's a right pain. It is a right royal pain in the arse. Look, I like this kit. I really, really, really like this kit. But God is it a pain to assemble. Also, we're now making Yu-Gi-Oh references in the chat and I'm disturbed. I'm just going to sit like this for 5 minutes whilst I try and get this to stick, because this thing is an absolute son of a gun to stick. Like some other men do. Says? Not sure who that is. Now that AOS has an octopus arm with a knife, one always sees His Majesty called around the Emperor's children's captain in a... I should have finished reading that. Yeah, secrecies of a stone or something on one of their feet for more contact. Yeah, like, one of the Paladors, you put down 1 foot and 1 hoof, and that's fine. But, and with the Palador Prime, it's a hoof that's alright. But, God, this one. Your screens have to make a raised part to push the feet down in... it's alright, I can do it, it's just a bit of a pain. Pin everything as the metal minis collapse under their own weight. Oh, yeah, it's true. This is just annoying. It's not impossible. And once it is stuck, it is stuck. Unless you drop it off the table and it breaks. Okay, so there's no leg or torso joint. The only joint is that for that leg. Then you have to attach the... Oh, God, this is going to be such a pain to assemble. Like, Vanguard Paladors, you're awesome, but ugh. Alright, I think that's stuck now. I think that's stuck now. What does it do to you, the painting? It sort of varies. Like right now, because I don't want to have a second set of earphones listening to other music, I'm just listening to whatever's on my iTunes library. But normally I use my Spotify library, or just be watching videos on YouTube while I paint, or I'll be listening to it, watching another live stream. So it sort of varies depending on what else I'm doing at the time. It varies really. What's the assembly order for the rider? Those, that, right. Oh, Caesara. Illuminal Caesara. Caesaris? Caesaras? I know the one you mean. Finally, the audiobooks produced by Black Library. I've not really listened to them much, if I'm honest. I know I should have done, really, as a law YouTuber, but I haven't really. There's some of the Escher gangs, they've only got 1 foot to cleave to the base and they wear high heels. Oof. Destruction needing more love meme. Destruction do need more stuff. They do. It's not a meme, that's just the truth. There are a number of audiobooks on YouTube, I just haven't listened to them. I've not been super fussed to do so. Hello. And the Escherents only have the front part of the foot. Yeah, the Witch Elves are the same. The Witch Elves are not great either for that. So most of them have actually got rocks, but some of them are annoying. Some of them are annoying. Tomorrow Wednesday. Go to sleep. First, the favourite Imperial Guard regiment. Snap Instinct says Katachan, but I don't know. Katachan probably. How's my day been? Alright, yeah, I've written up some notes for my uni stuff. I've finished recording a video, so I've done enough law videos to almost get me through my exam season now. That's disgusting, but it needs doing. There's a bug on the wall, it was bugging me. Pun kinda intended. There we go, that's done now. Sorry about that. Yeah, not a bad day. Not a bad day, thank you. Some memes can be true, just needs to be a no-flip Sherlock true. Elysians, yeah, I did Elysians in Red Roots for now. They're pretty cool. Krieg, Talon. There's plenty of good regiments. Cadia, there's a lot of good ones. Maybe I just have a soft spot for Katachan. I don't know. Sure, true. When you say Mordian uniform. Yeah, the Mordians are pretty alright. Yeah, they're not my favourites, but they're nice enough. So, Cadians then. Come on, there we go, that's pretty much cleaned up now. Death Corps, Steel Legion. Yeah, there's so many good Astra Militarum forces that honestly you can pick almost whoever you want. God damn it. Has there ever been Renegade Death Corps? Probably has, I just can't remember it right now. I wouldn't know where to start with Sister Battle. Like you'd need someone who knows them well enough, like someone like Alexis could answer that, but I'm not qualified to at all. Everything can be settled by throwing more guardsmen at it. Yeah, Elysia is very different. It's a nice system, so it seems to be voluntary. It seems to be anyway. That was the implication I got when I did my lore video on them. I think there's more Sisters players than you'd realise. I think there's probably a lot more people with Sister Battle armies than we might care to admit or know about. I wouldn't want to put numbers on it, but I somehow feel that to be the case. Also, yes, give it a year. That is very, very true, Rowan. Give it a year. Right, that's the assembly bit done. I just want to leave that part to dry for a bit. Like, this is as much as I want to assemble before I... Actually, I'll do the head. Let me get the head put together. I can't attach the head because of the shoulders... sorry, the cape. Cloak thing. Idoneth Deepkin or daughters, I'm leaning heavily toward Deepkin. I'm leaning very heavily toward Deepkin. I'll admit that now. Like, I think that's been the case for a while, but now that I've seen the rules properly, I'm definitely leaning heavily on Deepkin, because I think they just... I don't know, I feel like they suit me a little more. And I'll probably combo better with my Stormcast, because they'll have some resilience and some speed and some power and, more importantly, some magic. So that my Eidolon, if I get one, will be an aspect of the sea just to give me magic support. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Okay, in Janissaries, yep, another good force. Another cool one. Right, how did I paint this one first time round? Just so I don't copy it. Hold on. Right. So it's you. So yours was the skink green? Sorry. Akhelian green. Yours was deep blue. Yours was highlighted up blue. Yours was green on that. Okay, so making deep blue. Yeah, I remember just a natural blue. And then combo with, I've got red armor once. So yeah, purple and red. Or is this one purple and red? No, that's already purple and red, so I can't do that. Deep blue with, oh god, what do I want to do with this? Red plating? Red plating and then green feather? No, I've already got red plating, green feather. What do I want? What do I want? Grey plating? Could do grey plating, I guess. Grey plating and what? Purple feather? I mean, purple feather's a good idea. Purple feather, green plate. Okay, purple feather, green plate. Sorry about that. I was just trying to work out exactly what paint scheme I'm going for here. Because I don't want any of my things to look exactly alike. If you want to do Deepkin, do you reckon do a video series to go with it? Absolutely, there'll be another hobby project series. Glad you enjoyed the Odd Boys video. For any guardsmen, my tanks to be named after guardsmen means like more guard and sword. If you do go Deepkin, Deathstroke with the ultimate dagger. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I will be doing a hobby project series with pretty much every project I work on. Because I always like to, because I like people to see how my armies are going on, so I'll probably do another series like the one I've been doing this time, or I'll do it as irregular updates like I did with my tower, depending on how my painting schedule goes. Because I mean, this semester I've basically not bought anything apart from like a couple of boxes because I haven't needed to. Could do purple flesh. I could do purple flesh. With red feather and white plate? No, that's an inverse of that one. Because well, I'm thinking. Oh, originally it was going to be an Elfin Adventure Season 2. Like, because I had an old hobby project that I called an Elfin Adventure, where I started off with the original just mixed elves of AOS. But I wasn't sure. I wanted to go back and do that series again, but Echoes of the Deep as like a subtitle for it might be a good one. Although just calling it Echoes of the Deep might not be a bad shout too. But I like punny titles. That's the thing. I like punny titles. I'm bad at them, but I like punny titles. Purple with greenish. Yeah, do the green highlight on the feathers. And then whitish plating? Yeah, whitish plating. Yeah, okay. Purple flesh, greenish feathers, white plate. What do I want to do? No, let's go purple feathers, white plate. Because I'll just do Akhelian green instead of skink blue as the dry brush. No, but then that means the prime. No, that means the prime's got to have it. The prime's going to have the Sotek green. Brighto's going to have So this guy needs to be a flat colour. Yeah, alright. Purple it is. Since I bought more purple since the last time I painted Paladors, I can actually do that. Since I found my purple. The next wave. Ah. That's pretty good. The next wave, that's pretty good. Here's a pun name, the Not So Deep Wave. Hey up. What's new? Depends on when you're counting from. Depends on when you're next counting from. We've done a full Idoneth review of the things that are coming out this week, earlier in the stream, and I'm now on to painting a Vanguard Palador, so that depends by your definition, I suppose, and what you count as new. At Land's End. Now for 22 Electric Boogaloo. Of course. Someone had to say it. Someone had to say it. Purple is always good, says the Slanesh painter. Yeah, you would say that. Fighting a giant fish. Probably best I don't dive into that one. Raiders of the Azure Sea, Curse of the Elven Soul. When I need memes and puns, I should always come to stream chat for memes and puns. Mud Wyvern. No, not so keen on that one, I'm afraid. The other thing is, like, I don't know if we're going to get more Elven factions between now and when I start the project, which could be, like, when I come home or in September. So, like, there might be another faction that completely changes my mind again. If they're cool enough. I doubt it, but they could. Then again, I said that about the Daughters of Cain, and look where we are now. No, I'm not keen on that one either. Yes, all these new elves will make good Exodite or Drakari conversions. That is very, very true. If that's what you want to do with them, you can, and they'll be very good for it. Six pages of lore for a bloody predator. God. I don't know how many pages I write, because I write in my notes tab as opposed to in Word. I write like of about 8,000 words, something like that, for a lore video on average. 6,000 to 8,000. Knows what the fates have in store. Well, I'm glad that you found that. I think for an actual series title, I need to find something that's either quite serious or an exceptional pun. I need either an exceptionally good pun or just to keep it safe and simple. I gave my lore avatar a backstory. I made a video on it like a year ago. Actually, more like 18 months ago at this point. So I've done that. I have done that. It might be in 40k stories, but you need to just look up like Tactica Imperialis, the storyteller, and you'll find it. So I've done that. No, that's got connotations. I'm not taking that one. Not a chance am I taking that one. Oh god, now the entire chat's making puns at each other. Raiders of the Azure Sea between a rock and a hard place. Well, I don't know where my guys are going to be from yet. Like, I don't know if I want them to be from Gur, Gyron, Haish, Akshi, Shaish. Haven't decided, obviously, haven't seen the paint schemes and Enclave rules yet. So I wouldn't want to be putting locations on. thought they'd need a ship. So like you said, no, there's no pirates. They don't have ships per se. No, they don't have ships. There's nothing left to do other than to set to all the lore I just finished. Well, if that's what you wish to do, that's what you can do. I can't promise to read it all out whilst I'm painting, but the chat, I'm sure, can comment on it, and I'm sure people in the VOD will enjoy reading it. If people choose to watch the VOD. I wouldn't blame people for not watching the VOD, they must be incredibly boring, but hey. The Idoneth is spread out all over the place right now. So the first of the enclaves is in Haish, but then there's some in Ger, Gyron, Akshi, Shaish. I don't believe there's one in Ogu, Azir, or Shamon that I'm aware of, but there could be. In fact, there probably is one in Azir that's sworn themselves to Sigmar. So Rowan. Highlander themed raiders. Or Viking themed. Are you asking me to pick? Given the whole thing about the Beastclaw Raiders is that they're outrunning this cold that's constantly behind them. Like they're never at the Everwinter or something. I think probably something like cold is the better place to start. So like, would Highlander work better for that? Also bear in mind what's the easiest to convert and paint. So where there is a big bit of water. Or lava, or whatever the water in Akshi is made of. But not quite everywhere. We'll see when we get the book. We'll see when we get the book. Because some of them are nomadic and some of them aren't. I've got all the internally bits this time. Painting Tartan would be interesting, but then painting like all the draconic symbols of the Vikings and converting them to have axes and things, that would also be interesting, depending on the stuff. I don't do AOS lore videos. You might have noticed, I personally do not do AOS lore videos because of the way it works. What I might do is I'll do a review stream, absolutely, and I might release a snippet of the VOD of that as a video, But that would have to be a very focused VOD where I'd have to basically ignore the chat for half an hour. Or only take very occasional questions and not respond to you, and then take questions at the end that I could then add into the VOD. And I don't know if my computer could support streaming and recording at the same time. So I don't quite know how I want to do it. I want to do it in like a stream format, but then I know that won't get watched by many people. So I don't know how I want to do it. Some do have axes, that's true. It just depends on like which is easier to convert / paint, really, so which you prefer, and whichever you think will look cooler. Obviously, take the chat's opinions on it, but I don't really have an opinion on it. It's completely up to whatever you prefer, Rowan. Yeah. It's just maybe does this army have the most lore around that it's not Stormcast? No, it's just that it's being published in such a way that everyone's got access to it, whereas some factions it's just in their battle tome and that's it, whereas thanks to having things like Malign Portents and the stories involved with that, and also the way that they're publishing the lore and putting it in White Dwarf in their ultimate guide nowadays, it's just more people have got access to it. It's not that they've got more of it, it's just I think there's more access to it, so it's better known. Yeah, Death has a lot of lore. Of course it does. Where's the special edition? At least I want to be a part of. The World Eaters. Absolutely the World Eaters, because I would rather not have forced neurosurgery that made me into a raving psychopath, sort of. Although they're, well, actually no, Loyalist, sorry. I went straight to Great Crusade era. Loyalist. Blood Angels because of the floor? Probably Blood Angels because of the floor. What horse heresy book did you say you could not get? Just because I thought getting through Nemesis was. I've heard about Descent of Angels being particularly bad, but I don't know. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da, ba-dum. Right. How long do I want? Oh god, I'm at 3 hours already. Bloody hell, I was not expecting to be at 3 hours already. Probably go to 4, just paint until I get to 4 hours. So I'm thinking I could just get the griff charge done and maybe do a bit more of the armor basic. I'm trying to get to the point I got to last time, really. Because I'm not sure when I'll stream next. If there's not enough stuff for me to discuss, I might not stream. I'll probably stream like Wednesday this week. I'm not sure. We'll see. Stegadon, scale green, pop. Right. It's an amazing book. It's mostly about Callum before the Emperor comes to see how some people don't like it, but lore-wise it's the best. Fair enough. I don't think it's the content that's the problem. I think it's just about that it's a bit slow and a bit of a slog to get through. I don't know. I've not read it myself. I've not read enough books to really pass any fair judgment. I mean, there's not been a 40k book that I've not finished, and there's not been a 40k book that I've put down and said, well, that was a disappointment. So that says something. When it comes to Heresy Lore, which legion surprised you most while researching them? The Salamanders did to some extent, because I learned a lot about their culture that I wasn't expecting, and that was very interesting to learn about the culture of the Salamanders on Nocturne and things like that, which was interesting. I think I learned a lot about... Well, I learned a lot about all the legions, but if I was to be surprised, probably, yeah, the Salamanders. What if the Triads of Terror destroyed by Big E with Chaos followers? They may well have been. The Techno-Barbarians, it's hard to know. Some of them might have been. I mean, it's not believed that there were demons involved in the Unification Wars that we're aware of, but that's not to say that the Techno-Barbarians didn't worship Chaos, or at least some of them. That's certainly not outside the realms of possibility. Come on, let's get that bit there. Yep. Good, got that bit. Fulgrim? Are you talking about Fulgrim the Palatine Phoenix or Fulgrim? Because Fulgrim is widely acclaimed as one of the best books of the lot. Like, Fulgrim, the 5th Heresy novel with the Battle of Isfahan 5, He's probably one of the most respected novels of the lot. Wow, that was fast. Flip, I didn't even have time to look up. Well played. Did you like or dislike more? The Death Guard, I was already a bit less fussed about the Death Guard, but I was completely not fussed by the end. Who else? The Iron Warriors went down in my opinions. I think the Thousand Suns went up a tiny bit. Not so Magnus, but just generally the Legion. Why would I green feathers? Was I doing green feathers? Yeah, I was. I was doing white plating. Did anyone go up? The White Scars and the Salamanders, I think, went up in my expectations. So, yeah, them. Alpha Legion, bit of both, I think. Probably a bit of both. Sons of Horus, down. Imperial Fists, I think, up a tiny bit. Space Wolves, I think, it's kind of close. Fulgrim. Oh, I'm surprised by that. Like, generally, that 5th book is regarded as being exceptional. Like, one of the best of them all. But if you didn't like it, you didn't like it, and that's fair. I'm not going to say you're wrong at all, just surprising that one in particular. Thoughts on this promo to be released? My money is probably on Fulgrim or Angron. If we're going for a traitor, however, if they do decide to redress the balance and go loyal, then Lion by a mile. But I'd say most likely it's probably Fulgrim because they've hinted at what he's doing regarding Gilliman in the story. Whereas with Angron, there was an attempted summoning that was then stopped on Armageddon, and that's all we've really heard of him. I like how the Emperor Children went from one of the best colour schemes during the Crusade and the Heresy to one of the worst post-Heresy. Yeah, I mean, their pre-Heresy colour scheme was fine. I'm not going to say it was my favourite, but it was nice. I don't know if they were the best colour scheme, but they were a pretty good one. It was a unique one, that was for sure. It was very unique. But, yeah, their paint scheme now is kind of just like Slaneshi, so I immediately don't care. Drag with Pan instead and make time, and then Fulgrim Fall and his man was only 2 hours out of 14. Oh, I see. Well, if that's the way you feel about it, that's the way you feel about it. I can't change that opinion, and I'm sure that if others have read it, they'll have theirs. Oh, you meant the Alfarius one? Oh, right, sorry. My bad. Yeah, we talked about it in the podcast, but so you can see our full opinions on Wednesday. But yeah, Alfarius looks pretty good. Not my favourite, but pretty damn good. Then again, all the Primarch models are pretty damn good. Some of them are god tier, but all of them are good. And Alfarius is good. The best? No. The worst? Absolutely not. Right. Is that all those feathers done both sides? Yep, just want to... It's great to me. Yeah, he does look good. He does look good. First Heresy, at the moment, I feel nothing of Lorgar. Yeah, the First Heresy, someone actually asked about the First Heretic in the questions for the podcast, so I mean, I haven't read it, but yeah. If it was the reason I now have 3,000 points of word bearers as a drop assault force. Well, there you go. Every book is different to everyone. That much is very, very true. It's just black with pink shoulder pads. It could at least have one more cut. That's the Black Legion Emperor's Children, though, isn't it? Aren't those the Black Legion aligned Noise Marines that look like that? I thought the actual Noise Marines had a bit more to them. No, you're right. We've not seen like what the Emperor's Children themselves look like. We've just seen their Black Legion version. What book is your favourite for Games Workshop? Oh, what a question that is. What a question. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Indeed. Indeed. Come on. Getting there now. Right, is that all of the green bits? Not quite, just that bit there. Damn it. Flight of the Eyes of Thanos, Watch of the Throne. I have heard good things about both of those. I haven't read them personally. Like some of the books that I've read the most, Hell's Reach. I've read Hell's Reach a lot. So Hell's Reach has got to go up there, if only for nostalgia purposes. It was also the first 40k novel I actually read. Yeah. 10-man all-star strike team from 30k. No problem. That's the Emperor. I made my top 10 favourite heresy. I made a top 5 of my heresy era at Astartes. So we had Sevatar, Arbiter, Garrow, Sigismund, Khan. Who was number 4? Who was number 4? He had Arbiter. Why does this always happen? The later a stream goes, the more stupid crap gets put in. It really actually winds me up. But yeah, who would I add on top of that? So yeah, Arbiter, Sevatar, Khan, Garrow, Sigismund. Who was number 4 on that list? Then I think of other names like Idoneth Deepkin would be up there. You'd have people like Tactica, who is very powerful. Ahriman, Typhon. There's so many good ones in the Heresy era. Like, I could have easily made a top 10 if I really tried, but it would have been a bit more of a stretch. Though the Bio books are sweet, and I did like Dark Imperium and both the Dark Age and Heresy books. If you like the Heresy books, read Flight of the Eisenstein, it's the best, the first act. Yeah, I mean, Eisenstein is very widely reclaimed, and I do think Eisenstein is an exceptionally good book. Yeah. You have no medic. Well, if you want a medic, you want Bile, because he was the best apothecary going. Yeah, Bile. I didn't realise you wanted me to pick like a tank and a DPS. I didn't realise that's what you wanted me to do. Like, you want a tank, you want people in Artificer armor or Terminator armor like Typhon, who's your tank. You want your DPS, you've got Sevatar, and you've probably got, yeah, Sevatar, Sigismund, and Khan are your DPS. You've got your healer in Bile, you've got magic support in probably Ahriman and Arbiter, or Yesige and Arbiter if you don't want to have two of the same legion. And then for further support, you want a tactical thinker, so you want probably a, oh, what's his name? Pollux or a Loken, or well, maybe not a Loken. Who else was a really good strategist? Theo would be a good strategist. So a Theo as your support, or like leader, brain person. I didn't realise that's what you wanted me to do. You just said pick a 10-man team, so I did. You really need to be more clear with your stipulations, damn it. Right, what colour do I want to do now? Bile, it was the best apothecary of the Legiones Astartes before the Horus Heresy. Period. I don't care if he was a bit weird, I'd want him on my team keeping me patched up. There is no one I would rather have as a medic. And just as a medic. Nothing else, just a medic. Yes, Rowan? Theo. Any Theo. Sigismund, Khan, Sevatar, Abaddon, Garrow, Bile, Ahriman, Typhon, Axum, and Corferin. Why Corferin? Corferin was a failure, and even Lorgar saw that. Like, Sigismund, Khan, Sevatar, Abaddon for your DPS, I agree. Garrow, strategist, biomedic. Ahriman, support. Typhon, tank and support. Little Horus, great thinker, not the best warrior. Actually, Little Horus and Corferin are both slightly shady picks. Depends on what you'd replace them with. I think you need another tank in there. And maybe you want another healer or a bit more magic. I think. Oh. That makes sense now. Thank you, Ron. Ow, 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 ow. Right, what colour do I want to do now? Black? Yeah. And Primaris models, aren't the helmets and shoulder pads the same size as normal Marines? I don't believe so, and I haven't built models of that type, so I don't know. Zahariel, option. He'd be a good assassin rogue type because he becomes Cypher. Yeah. Zeratar in the fist with a black sword or sniping dudes. Fist with the black sword was the dude with the black sword was Sigismund. Sniper would be Exodus. Khan and Typhus, the DPS and tank, that makes sense. Bio for hit. No trickster. Well, Lucas wasn't alive. As for shenanigans, like, it wasn't really a thing, so you don't really have an alpha legionary if you wanted shenanigans, but I don't know. I don't know who that is. That name has not come up in my research. Let's get the frame done. And then I'm not thinking about the frame again. Come on. Last in the Ultramarines dude and Armin for tactical and buffing. So Thiel and Armin. Savitar and Sigismund go out and find enemy ores and HQs. At least it wasn't Erebus. Well, Erebus, if you wanted a trickster card, if you wanted a deviant card to play, Erebus, well, he's good at that. He's good at lying and cheating and manipulating, but that wouldn't work if you're in a guns blazing situation. He just is not the best pick. Arctarinus. That name also means nothing to me, I'm afraid. I don't know if you need a 1v1 duel winner, you just need good warriors. the fact that someone can hang with like a champion is good, but you should have a team with you that can back you up, provide fire support, heal you. In that situation, it just having the skill to hold in a duel alone is just a bonus. Oh, a Thunder Warrior, right? That will explain it then. I haven't looked too hard into the Thunder Warriors. That's why I have Khan and Typhon. I take your point. I take your point. Like, you don't need duelists. You do sometimes just need DPS, and Khan certainly provides very good DPS. As Typhon does do damage, but he is also the toughest of the tough. He is a great tank. He and one of his lieutenants survived the Emperor's Purge and are an outcast dead. Ah, I see. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I wouldn't have paid the Thunder Warriors a good leader for a strike team just because, I don't know, the Thunder Warriors didn't seem all that A, charismatic, or B, much of anything other than just beat sticks. But then again, I haven't studied them. I'm not in a position to judge. Have I done all that's in the frame now? Yep. Right, next bit. And in the Carcarans and Night Lords, because the defense pale skin. The Raven Guard had that sort of defect too, but yeah, there is an option. The Night Lords is definitely possible. I discussed both in the video. Like, it could be the Night Lords, or it could be the Raven Guard. There's evidence both ways. So asking about the primary shoulder pads, do I need to wait for an upgrade kit or could I use existing ones? Well, if you happen to have a spare existing one, then try it if you can. I don't know. I honestly don't know how you can, I don't know what you've got available to you to test that. Survived in the 31st by studying gene manipulation. Well, that makes absolute sense. Like, it's the only way they were going to stay alive. Because they were unstable as all hell. Or the Thunder Warriors. Genetically and potentially mentally. Pretty sure I can use existing ones on normal Primaris but not on Gravis armor. Okay, that seems to follow. Sevatar is their founder, if not the Red Wake himself. No one has survived that long, apart from Epimetheus, but that was by luck. Well, it wasn't through luck, it was through Susan. There's no way Tybros is Sevatar. Like, Sevatar being their founder, I can buy. Sevatar being Tybros, nope. Sorry, can't buy that one. Ba-ba-da-da-da-bum. Ba-da-bum. Tyrannus managed to retain the progenoid glands of one of the fallen Astartes. That is unsurprising. If he came across one, then if their biology was anything like Astartes, he'd know what he was looking for. That's fault to Chaos God, which want to be Zinch. Every time. Because I'm not a warrior. You might have noticed. I don't like to fight. Whether that's verbally or physically, I do not like to fight. So Zinch suits me much more. I find it extremely unlikely that the Thunder Warrior is still in the 41st Millennium. I find it extremely unlikely. Not impossible, but extremely low probability that by this point. Slanesh, of course. Of course. Don't even want to know why. In AOS, who do you think Slanesh is going to be most annoyed at when he gets free? Probably Marathi, if I were to guess. Nope. 3 times. You're out. Not having that shit in my chat. Give me a sec. I'll get to your question as soon as I've done this. So if some of the techno barbarian tribes was chaos followers, would that explain why Emperor hates religion? But why would he still allow Marge to have it? Did he know it was because of the Void Dragon? The question as to why the Emperor allowed Mars to keep its religion was probably because he couldn't afford to be destroying the Mechanicum and trying to harvest their technology, because he didn't have the wherewithals and the know-how to do it. Basically, it was because he didn't have a choice. He needed Mars, and if he was going to get Mars, he was going to get the Martian cult. There was nothing he could do about it. Got that all now? Yeah, I think so. Blood Ravens. I personally subscribe to the Thousand Suns theory, but I know that that's quote-unquote been debunked. I still think they're the most likely candidate, but I'm willing to see what other options are out there and like go with it. Like, if they can provide me a good enough reason for it to be someone else, then fine. But for the moment, Thousand Suns are the most likely candidate. Phrasing. It was. I don't think it was ever officially debunked, but I believe that Laurie Golding came out and said in like a forum post or a Reddit post at some point that those who subscribe to that theory are effectively wrong. So, Black Library, I don't think have ever officially come out and said it, but I believe Laurie Golding did. And I think it was Remlaze's rant one week on the podcast when it happened. Come on. With the high second count and hump for knowledge makes you think 1k suns, but they don't have the flesh change. Yeah, the flesh change. Well, the thing is, the rubric was supposed to have cured the flesh change. Like they'd never suffered. Like the sorcerers who were not transformed into rubrici have not suffered from the flesh change again. I don't know whether the Blood Ravens are 1,000 suns and how you explain the flesh change away. If you make them 1,000 suns, I'm not 100%. Like the rubric is your best bet, but I'm not sure. So there is difficulty with getting it, but yeah. They're not quite looters in power armor. They don't just nick everything. Silent King, can he overpower the dynastic code, i.e. could we see Nagash versus Cetra again? Well, the thing is that if Silent King can activate, if the Silent King is able to, we don't know if he can, reactivate the command protocols of the Necron race, then he basically is Nagash all over again. But we don't know if he can do that. If he can't do that, then he basically is just a guy who walks around and tries to get the dynasties to help and work together. It's only if you get the command protocols back online that you end up in a Nagash situation, and then whether that can be avoided or overwritten to get a Cetra situation. Right. Apparently someone wants a high five. I don't quite know how that would work through a screen across several countries. I don't know. You know what, let's just move on. I did a terrible job painting this purple. As it turns out, I did a terrible job. I see the Blood Ravens find relics on the battlefield and keep it safe from those who would deface or dishonour them. Yeah, but they then also don't return them to their rightful owners if they find out who it belongs to. Blood Ravens have their flaws. They're not perfect. They're not the worst. Not by a long shot, but they're not perfect. Your paints. No, it's not that I didn't think my paints. I just did a terrible job of being accurate and painting in all the bits I was supposed to. Nothing to do with painting. I just did a bad job painting it because I'm bad at painting. Right, so we've got all of those, all of that colour. Yes. New 21st founding, and they have 1,000 suns. The gene seed of religion that counter the flesh change. Maybe 21st founding, but the Blood Ravens, I don't know. There's way too many questions in play. There's a lot of questions in play regarding it. Maybe, but hard to know. Right, I think I'm going to just fix up this purple and then I'm going to call it a night, I think. Like, it's not, I admit this last second 2 hours has been a lot quieter, but that's usual when I do painting and hobby rather than news. But we did the first hour and a half, first 2 hours was news and discussion, and that was a lively bit of time. So hopefully there was a bit of the best of both worlds for everybody. Bit of chill and a bit of, I didn't put the lid on that, I'm an idiot. I think where's the colour I actually want. Since I was going like right this second, I'll be finishing this cleanup and then I will. If you go in early, you go in early, and that's fine. I said I had some tidying up to do. I don't know why you're signing me off so quickly. I'm not done. I'm just going to be done very soon. You're getting very ahead of the curve there, trying to get rid of me, people. Does he interact with the other race of the galaxy? Yes, he does. We had the incident involving the alliance with Dante that happened. Yeah, that was a thing. Some people don't like it, but it happened. So, yes, he does. Not much, but he does sometimes. Rarely. On very, very odd occasion. I don't like doing crossover things. Crossover questions are just too awkward to answer because I have no idea. Plus I'd probably get it all wrong because I don't know the lore of those universes well enough to know how they'd fit in. Or whether they'd even survive. There. Now I've tidied that up a bit. Just because there's not another colour I can do that I can do quickly. Like red would take some time, trying to do the lining of the cloak and stuff, and like grey's going to take ages for this particular one and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I might call it there. I admit, a bit of a slower ending than usual, but I hope you enjoyed the stream for the most part. We had a good period of time discussing the Idoneth and their releases, and that was good. Got to get everyone's opinion. I'll be interested to see next week whether our predictions, or your predictions in particular, on their points were correct. I'll be very interested to see whether those predictions come true, or whether it's they're more expensive or even cheaper. We'll have to see. As for when I'll be streaming next, I'm aiming to stream probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll be doing another stream where I'll be going over what we know and hopefully finishing off this Vanguard Paladin if I haven't done so already. And then we will, on the Saturday, either the Saturday or the Sunday, we'll see. I'm thinking of going like Saturday mid-morning to get the Idoneth Deepkin battle tome, and if I can, I'll have a read of it for an hour or so, and then I will have a stream, and that just fell off, never mind. Then I'll have a stream, and we will discuss it there, or I'll wait till the Sunday if I have to go a bit later in the day. We'll discuss it then, because I do want to discuss it with all of you, because that is going to be interesting. We'll have a full lore and gameplay breakdown of the Idoneth Deepkin, see how they stack up in this world as both a story faction and as a gameplay one. So, yes, it will definitely be interesting. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining us for this Tactica Imperialis live stream. I do hope you have enjoyed it. And I will see you all very, very soon. And make sure to tune into the channel tomorrow for the potentially penultimate part of a town called Malice. Thank you for watching, everybody. This has been Tactica Imperialis. Until the next time, I'll see you all again. Good night.